Hello guys, a very good afternoon to one and all, and welcome to the sessions on database management systems. Alright, so hope you have been got something on the few sessions which we have discussed in the last week. Yes, alright. So today's is majorly very important topic in the designing of your databases. So as I told you yesterday, the last day session, I was been talking about what is a database and what are the problems it will occurs. And once we have finished with this, there are the few problems will occur. So then once it is got finished, we'll go to the practically how do you implement this databases concept in real time application world. So first thing is I want to know that I'll let you know what is actually we have done in the few sessions here. The last week we have done with some kind of problems what we're gonna face, something like constraints we have been learned, right? We have been learned about a constraint as something like key constraint, a composite constraints, or last one is integrity constraint, relation constraint. Now my major concentration is how do you find to design a database, and along with that what are the problems it will occur and how do you reduce that problems. Once you are being clear about these points, then I'll directly start with how a programmers, how a database designers will implement practically for a certain website or for a certain website application. Sorry, any application has been talking about, like we have been a different applications, like we have mobile applications, we have a desktop, or we have a web application. For all this application, how a specific developer or programmer will implement the logics and all. Yes, that is what my major concentration on today's session is. Now let me show you the one screen so that I just want to tell you what is actually we want to be learn about. So we are being learned about what is first a database and what is a database management system. Right, yesterday I have been talking about the day one also, the day one when we are being started about what is the databases. Before we started about it, we have been learned about what is data, what is information, and how this information will be utilized. So all these things I was given you the few very good examples on the databases part. So that's the reason database is basically a collection of different kind of data or facts. Right, data is something related to a facts, so that can be processed in the databases. And database management system is a system software which handles or which uses for retrieving, managing, or updating the information of a particular user. Okay, this is what I have already done in the last session. So what is my thing is I want to show you what are the best to design your databases. Okay, just see the screen once, and this is the screen which tell you about what are the objects of good relational database. Nothing but when you want to become a very good database developer in the market, so you have to follow a few things, or you have to follow a few important things in this. So what is that important things is the database supports both required and ad hoc information retrieval, nothing but the planned as well as sometimes unplanned information. So the data must be designed to store the data, and the necessary to support the information requirements is defined during the design process of any possible ad hoc queries that may posted by the user. Right, I'll tell you one thing, nothing but I'll tell you one thing, very best thing. Never know when your user is requested for your certain application to be worked. Right. Never knows that when application has to be run, when the application can't be used. That depends on the user. You are not able to do it. But when you are being a database developer, you are a database developer, you are in such a position, you have to be create a certain database in such a way that that database has to access any point of time or any amount of time has to be accessed when a user is requested for your certain website. That is something called it as planned as well as unplanned. Here unplanned in the sense an ad hoc planned. Okay. So now let me show you the second point on this, right. data integrity is imposed at the time of the field as is possible all the time a table and the relationship levels, right. There are the three levels of integrity will help you guarantee that the data structure and their values will be valid as an accuracy. Right. So, for example, I will tell you one thing, right. So, that is what we have been talking about the earlier sessions also. I mean to say relations, right. So, I mean to say that you have to create your certain database, nothing but certain tables or certain information that can be accessed any point of time, and the data which has to be a single table data. Sometimes the data can be of multiple tables data, the data can be retrieved from multiple things, right. So, that is a major part when you defining your database, that supposed to not to have any data integrities. Alright. To design this particular databases, what are the various things you were what I can call best what I can say, what are the best situations where you face into designing of your databases. I will show you that. Okay. Now, please show you that what are the base things, right. The first thing is data anonymous, right. What is this data anonymous is? Let us see that. There are the three types of anomalies that occurs when the database is not normalized. Please underline this point about what is the mean of normalization. Let me talk about in today's session itself what is the mean of normalization. Very important thing, very important thing that you have to remember for sure before attending an interview on DBMS. I am very sure guys you have a minimum one question on normalization. What are the different ways of normalization? If the data is in not normalization, then what are the difficulties you will face in the application development, right. That is the first, and these are insertion, updation and deletion has to be again anonymously, nothing but anonymous, I can say simple as that. Let us take an example to understand this one by one. Yes. So, what are the base things you need to find? So, you need to find about if the data is in not normalization position, you need to make it normalize, and second thing is that whenever you are normalizing the data, you have to remember three important factors here. Then if someone is inserted the data which is about unknown data, yes, this is a place where your database get leaks, yes or no. For example, if someone is trying to enter the data which is not valid, so that if you are giving a permissions to him, what will happen is automatically your entire database will be get crashes. As soon as your database got crashes on the back end, the application which is running or the application which is used by the end user will not able to see that. Yes or no? That is what the major factor to remove the redundancy. That is something called it as normalization. So, now let me talk about very important factor, that is something called data redundancy, right. What are the things you gonna say sorry. So, what are the things you basically face in the data redundancy factor? See that, right. Data redundancy is a condition created within a database or data storage technology, which the same piece of data held in two separate places, right. Why actually the data redundancy concept is? I will tell you very simple thing. For example, I want to store the data in one particular place, alright. So, then what will happen is my database storage will be increases lot and lot. For example, take a simple table, right. In the table, if you have a 10 columns, then you can able to see this, yes or no. If you have a 20 columns also you can show this. For example, if you have a 30 or 40 columns, if you are best, if you are very good, still you can able to see this. For example, a table data or table columns around 100 plus, then it is a question mark for everyone, yes or no. In that case, what I do is I divide this table data into multiple tables to decreasing the application data. Even the data will not decrease, but I am very sure the data will be distributed into different tables, so that instead of having 100 columns in a particular only single table, you can design a multiple tables. In each and every table you will find only 10 columns. Yes, that is what the major thing which you have to know about what is this data redundancies. That is what I am been talking about. Let us see the screen again. The data redundancy is collection to create within a database or data storage technology, which the same piece of data holds in separate tables. Nothing but you have a same data, but that can be of not only single, I mean not only 2 sometime, here sometime 4, sometime 5, sometime 10 also, right. But by the time base thing is, I just want to tell you something called it as only in 2 separate tables. This means that 2 different fields within a single database or 2 different spots and a multiple software environments or platforms. Mean to say that your data of a particular user, instead of getting the data from single table, you can get the data from multiple tables. And how do you get this multiple table data? In the sense that we have already talk about relations, right. When you maintain the relation between these multiple tables, nothing but maybe 2 tables, maybe 3 tables, or maybe 4 tables. Why I am creating these 4 tables? In the sense, instead of making all them into one place, I do require to maintain the relation. So if I maintain like that, what will happen is your data will be get redundant, nothing but your data get decreased, so that whenever other person is trying to access, it is bit simple to access. Any updations or any insertions has been happened, that is also becomes very simple for every individual users also. That is what the major factor you have to remember about the data redundancy factor. That is the reason I will tell you, in interview they may ask you this question, what you mean to say about data redundancy? It is pretty simple. Data redundancy is just a condition, just a redundancy, just a condition that has to be created on a single database, or else it can be created on database platform, database environment also. Nothing but instead of getting or instead of gathering the data into one place, we are distributing the data into multiple places, right. Have you remembered or not, I don't know, but as in the earlier classes I was been talking about the architectures, right. Yes, architectures. Why I am writing the application thing in architectures? I want to distribute my application on my database, has to be distributed into several machines. One is application server, one is database server, and the next one is database. What will happen is, when I am distributing the data into multiple places, it is bit simple for me to require whenever a user is requested. That is the reason redundancy is one of the factor for that. Yes. Now let us see the screen again. Whenever data is repeated, this basically consists of the data redundancy, This can occur by accidentally, but it is also done deliberately for backup and recovery purpose also. So I mean to say, I will tell you very best thing in the market right now. You have heard about something called big data, right? Big data is a same concept. Yes or no? Big data in the sense large scale of data. The data of large scale data can be the simple solution. It is have a Hadoop. Hadoop is the best solution for your big data. What is the meaning is, it is something called it as Hadoop distributed ecosystem, Hadoop distributed system. What it happened is, even though the data is redundant, means what will happen is, as soon as if I get the data from the particular application, I will distribute into the different nodes. Hope you understand what is node is. Node is a machine, right. So nothing but I do distribute my data into multiple machines, even though it is redundant. Now what I will do is, instead of making you to do that, if sometime a node is got crashed, nothing but I can't able to get the data back, right. If a data is got crashed, in the sense I can't able to get the data back, right. So then I will have a same data which is presented in another node. From that node I can get it. Yes or no? your user will not wait for the data has to be required from that particular node. You are not doing that. You are getting the data from other node and you are working it. Even though data is redundancy, that is a simple thing, best example for this one, right. Let us see the screen again. Whenever the data is repeated, basically consists of data redundancy. This occurs by accidentally, right, but also done by deliberately for the backup as well as recovery purpose. Nothing but whenever you require to have a backup, whenever you want to recover the data machine from one particular node, this will be very helpful. Please note it down the points which is displayed on your screen, because in interview they may ask you this question, what is the data redundancies? Alright, once it is done, let me talk about one more problem, that is something called it as functional dependency. Right, there are the two problems. One thing is about the data redundancy and second thing is functional dependency. Right, what does this mean by functional dependency? Let us see that as relational database theory, the functional dependency is a constraint is between two sets of attributes in a relation from a database, simple as that. In other words, functional dependency is a constraint that describes the relation between attributes in a relation. Very simple. That is, any related concept, any database, relational database management system, a system software which tells you only one thing. What it mean to say, what is that meaning is? The meaning is to say that, for example, you have a data which is presented distributed into two tables. Nothing but table 1 has to be dependent on table 2. Functionally, these both tables will be dependent on one into other one. Yes or no? Now, how these two tables will be dependent on one particular table? You have an attribute, that attribute I will take and same attribute I will put it on the second table, then this two table by default it is a functional dependency. Yes, that is what I am been talking in this, right. Let us see this. Relational database theory, the functional dependency is a constraint or the condition between two sets of an attributes in a relation from a database, and the second thing is, in other words, the functional dependency is a constraint that describes the relationship between the attributes in a particular relation. This is second part. For this, you have something called it as normalization. How do you make a table to be perfect and how do you make a table has to be dependent on another table? Nothing but functionally as well as relatorily, right. For that you have to learn about normalization for sure. So, because it is very important time or it is very important thing you have to learn in databases, normalization. I am very clear that when you go for an interview, for sure you have a question, one question minimum on normalization. Yes. Now, let me show you what is that normalization. Alright. So, in normalization there are the three things we need to concentrate. First one is update anonymous, delays anonymous and insert. There are the three factors we have a problem, right. For these three problems we have to talk about what are the different types of normalizations are presented. Whenever I have a normalization, nothing but if there are the few different types of normalization we have, alright. For example, if one table I have to set that it is in first normal form or second normal form or third normal form, all these things, right. How do I do it? First, I do show you one particular problem for you. I have to show you one problem for you. So, is that problem is not properly, if the problem is, if you understand the problem very clearly, then the solution is one particular form, right. If this is the problem, I do have one more thing. Yes, for that you have a different types of normalization. What are the different types of normalizations? You can just snitch out here. Here the most commonly used normal forms are the first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, bichord normal form, right. These are the base for normal forms actually, and after that you have a fourth normal form as well as you have fifth normal form also, right. So, there are the different ways you need to normalize your database tables. First thing is first normal form, second normal form, third normal form. If it is up to this, mostly your problems will be get rectified. If not, then you have to go for bichord normal form. If still it is not rectified, then you have to go for fourth normal form. Still you are facing some problem, then the last stage is the fifth normal form. In this fifth level of normal form, you have to solve all your problems, mostly 990% of chances, 99.9% chances you can solve your problem with this particular fifth normal form. Now, I want to make you to learn at least 4 minimum, at least 4, then we will have a fourth and fifth. So, what is the first normal form as, right? Let me show you the screen once, right? Right, stages. What are the stages you need to follow? Then we will start with this. Step 1, select the data source, convert into first unnormalized format, right. First you can just get the table which is of unnormal format, nothing but just select anything which has to be not in normal format. Then transfer that unnormal form data into first normal form, nothing but you have a data which is of not unnormal, nothing but it is not in properly normalized way. First convert that into first normal form. After converting first normal form, then convert into second normal form. Yes, see that? Transfer the data in first normal form into a second normal form. Yes, and the fourth point is transfer the data from second normal form to third normal form. This is up to fourth step. Occasionally, the data may still the subject to anonymous in the third normal form if still you are not satisfied. In case you have to perform the further transformations. What is the further transformation is? The transformation is about third normal form to bichord normal form, bichord normal form to fourth normal form, and fourth normal form to fifth normal form. Yes, please see this once again. I will just list out what actually it has to be. First, select any data source, select any data source, select any database, and make sure that the data which you are taking, it is supposed to be in by default unnormal form. Okay. If it is an unnormal form, the step 2 what you need to do is convert that unnormal form data into first normal form, right. Convert that first normal form first of all. Once you converted the data into a first normal form and transfer the data which is in already in first normal form, convert into second normal form. Yes, this is almost you will get the solution. If you are not getting the solution here, then what you do is convert the second normal form data into third normal form. Yes, still you have expected the data which is again not in proper way. Then what you do is occasionally, I am not telling you all the time, occasionally, sometimes convert the data which is already in third normal form, convert into bichord normal form, BOYCE, COEE, right, convert into that format. If as a designer you are still not satisfied on that, convert that bichord normal form data into fourth normal form, and lastly transfer the data which is already there in fourth normal form, convert into fifth normal form, right. You may get a doubt that, sir, how do I convert which is unnormalized data into first normal form? Don't worry, I will get your place. I'll try to explain you how your data has to be, right. Please see the screen once again. All right. So, just note it down the points which is displayed on your screen right now. First thing is select the data source, convert into unnormal form. Second point is transfer unnormal data into first normal form, and the next one is transfer the first data into first normal form to second normal form, and then transfer the data into second normal form to third normal form, and the last one is occasionally the data may still subject is not related, then you can go for performing the further transformations, something like transfer the third normal form data into bichord normal form, and transfer the bichord normal form data into fourth normal form, and convert the fourth normal form data into fifth normal form. Yes, do clear all these things, guys. Right. Now what we are trying to do is we are trying to learn one by one. Right. First I will start with first normal form, then I will go to second normal form. Right. So what is the first normal form telling you that? As per the rule of first normalization, or as per the rule of first normal form, right, an attribute, I mean to say column of a table cannot hold multiple values, cannot hold multiple values, it should hold only atomic values, it should hold only atomic in the sense only a single value. For example, let me show you a data which is of unstructured. Will you able to see that? See that, for suppose a company wants to store the names of contact numbers of an employees, right, and they have created a table something like this, right. See that employee number is 101, name so and so, address so and so. You just need to concentrate here. First employee have a single mobile number, right. You just here you have only one mobile number, right. If I am going to an employee number 102, here I can able to see two mobile numbers, one is personal, one is official number, right. Then the 103 employee again have a single number, so no issues here. See that 104 again have a two more mobile numbers. But what is the first normal form is telling for us? The first normal form is telling you that every attribute, I mean to say every column of a simple table should have to contain only single value, I mean to say atomic value, mean to say only a single column, single cell has to contain only one value. Nothing but, is it in the first normal form right now? Absolutely not. Yes or no? Absolutely not. This data is not in first normal form. How do I convert into first normal form? Right. Now let me show you the things again. Right. See that screen again, once again. Suppose if you want to store the names and contact numbers of an employees, which is of this particular screen, and how do I convert it? So I do convert this into second normal form. Say two employees, John and Lizard, having a two mobile numbers, so the company should show them in the same field. As you can see the table above, we have seen it. This table is not in first normal form, as rule says that each attribute of a table must have nothing but single value. See here employee mobile number have the employees which is of listener rules. So to make sure that the table has to be compiled in first normal form. So how do I get it? See that 101 employee does not have any problem, 102 employee, right, if you are able to see the screen there. Alright, so just give me a second time, so I will make you a little more able to understand it. Alright, so just see the screen that as it is not in normal form, we supposed to make them in first normal form. Alright, so let me show you these things again, so that you will understand little more easy, make it as little more bigger. Yes, what is the first normal form is that, right? See that right now my data, this is my raw data. Yes, imagine that this is my raw data. In this particularly movie rated, is about how many columns here? 2 columns here, nothing but it is separated by comma, nothing but this attribute is consist of not only single value, multiple values. How do I convert this into a first normal form? Let us see that. This Jones record, I will take it as first record. In first particular table, I will store the Pirates of Caribbean, right, the first one. What is here? First one, I will show you first Caribbean. Then second one, again I will take it as same row, and I will take it as Clash of Titans, nothing but second one, right. Mr. Jones has given a rating for 2 movies here, that is something called this one, Pirates of Caribbean and Clash of Titans, right. So in that time what I will do is I will try to convert that data into first normal form, nothing but everything has to contain only single value here. Yes, understood everyone? In our example also it is same, nothing but 101 employee, same record, does not have any problem because he is having only single mobile number. 102 employee have a problem because he is having 2 mobile numbers. What I will do right now is I will make them as a 2 rows here. If you just see that, there are the 2 rows, I am making it with the same employee ID, same address or same ID which have a 2 rows here. Yes or no? Then this particular table I can say right now is it is in first normal form. You understood? Have you understood now? Let me explain you orally once again. For example, if a data of a particular attribute is not a single, nothing but more than one value, in that case what I will do is I will take a separate attribute value. If it is repeated for twice, thrice, I will make a rows is duplicated, nothing but employee ID, same mobile number, same employee ID, another mobile number. Yes, you do understand it? Yes, this now I can say that table is right now in first normal form. Yes, then how do I convert this first normal form to second normal form? Understood everyone? Please note it down, compulsory, because very important thing in your interviews. What is first normal form? First normal form is telling you that if any attribute of a particular table has to contain only atomic value, atomic in the sense a single value. If it is not in first normal form, try to make them convert into first normal form. Yes, clear now? Now let me show you the screen once again. How do you convert into second normal form? Now let us see that a table said to be in second normal form if both the following conditions hold. The first condition is the table has to be in first thing is in first normal form, and second thing is no non-prime attributes is depend on the proper subset of any candidate key of a table. Let me show you with an example for this, okay, don't worry. Alright, an attribute that is not the part of any candidate key is known as non-prime attribute. Okay, what is the, I am giving you one more thing is, right, an attribute that is not the part of any candidate key, it is not the part of candidate key, then I can say that particular attribute as non-prime attribute, right. So for example, your data is in this particular position right now, yes or no? Just imagine that your data is in this particular position, nothing but Jones record has been repeated for how many times? Twice. Then what I will do is, I do want to convert the data into second normal form. So what is the second normal form rules? First of all, the rule 1, it has to be in first normal form, and rule 2 is a single column has to be have a primary key column. Alright. So what I will do is, see that here membership ID is one column, film name or physical address and salutation, member ID and movie rated. For example, member ID 1 John has been rated for how many movies here? 2 tables. Nothing but what we are trying to do is we are dividing this particular table into 2 forms or 2 tables where member ID of second table is same as member ID of first table, so that whenever if I make a relation of these 2 tables based on this membership ID, I will do convert this to, or I will do get the data from these 2 tables. Nothing but Mr. Jones is rated for the table or movie called Pirates of Caribbean as well as Clash of Titans. And Mr. Phil has given the rate for only 2 movies again, forgetting the Slash Martian as well as Daddy Late Death. Yes, and the Mr. Phil again one more record, nothing but see that record, see that this guy has a different address and this guy have a different address. These both persons are not same because your membership ID is different, right. So even though username is same for the 2 users, the ID which is generated by the server is different. So that is something called it as membership ID. Here membership ID, here also membership ID, both are same. That's the reason we can call is that table as is in second normal form. How do you call it as? The rule one is the table supposed to be already in first normal form, and second thing is rule supposed to be, it has to be every single table or single column supposed to be a primary key column. So that it is very clear that we can't move forward to make our simple database, and that very simple is you can make the table in the second normal form is in this way. Right now your table is this particular way, is in first normal form right now, and make the key primary key, then I can make the table is in these 2 formats. Please note it down. The first normal form table will be like this. First note it down this particular thing, right. So what is the problem here? We have a same record is repeated here. Instead of making them in repeated, we have to convert into second normal form. Please note it down. The table right now is in first normal form. Yes, once you finished it, this is the problem we can have here. So that what we are facing is we are converting the data into 2 tables. Nothing but first table I have a ID, second table also I have a ID. Within this I can able to get my data back. Yes, understood everyone? Yes, right. If you have any doubts, you can post your doubts on the comment window of this particular video. So I will respond to you for your doubts. Very, very important thing is don't ignore this. Don't ignore this. Yes, because from tomorrow when I get started designing your particular database, then it is for you, it becomes very, very difficult. Yes, is it clear guys? Right. Now let me shift you to third normal form. How the table can be call it is in third normal form is how your data is in third normal form is. Now let me show you the screen again. Alright. So here the data is about the third normal form. So how do you say that data is in third normal form? A table design is said to be is in third normal form if the following conditions has to be true. The first one is table must be in second normal form, and the functional dependency of non-prime attributes of any super key should be removed. Already we have removed it. Alright. So an attribute that is not the part of any candidate key is known as non-prime attribute. If the word third normal form is explained like a table is in third normal form if it is in second normal form, and for each the functionally dependent on x and y, and at least the following condition should be true, is have at least super key, or at least it have a prime attribute, or else the attribute that is a part of one candidate key is known as prime attribute, right. Very simple thing I will tell you, very simple thing I will tell you. The first thing is I can say the table is in third normal form. How could I say the table is in third normal form is, first thing is the table which is already has to be in second normal form, and it is supposed to be have non-prime members, right. Nothing but you can just say all the things into what I can say primary keys, simple as that. Once you make the table is in third normal form, you can make a functionally dependent on the table X to table Y, then it has to be said to be as in third normal form. Am I very clear? So now if you see that example, you will understand it. Now let me show you the screen again. Alright, see that right now I have a table which is in this particular format, right. Now I do want to make this is in third normal form. For the third normal form, what I do is the table has to be in first second normal form. Rule 2 has to have a functional dependencies. To move our second normal form into third normal form, we do again divide into tables into and next table. Table 1 is what? As it is, nothing but membership ID, name, address as well as salutation ID. Now this salutation ID, I do have another table. If you observe or not, in salutation ID I was removed in second table there. In second normal form, I don't have anything, call it as salutation ID, which is directly represented here itself. Nothing, what I will do is, I do divide the salutations into one more table, nothing but I am dividing this table again into number of blocks here. Yes, what will happen here? This table, previously membership ID has been removed, now your salutation also has been removed, salutation ID as well as salutation. Here in this particular way, you can make your table right now is in third normal form. Nothing but what I can do is, from this table 1, I can integrate with the table 2, and from this table 1, I can also integrate with table 3, and also I can do table 1 can be integrated with table 2 as well as table 3. Yes, clear now? Nothing but they are supposed to not to have anything has to tell independently. Everything is multiple tables data. Nothing but you can divide your data into multiple parts with supposed to irrespective of the data what you are doing is. So I can divide this data into multiple tables so that it is very easy to access the data. Right now my table is in not third normal form. If you are not satisfied with this, right now I don't have anything to say that data is redundant, no. So data is already have a redundancy, but I do want to convert into multiple tables, multiple data is converted. But if people will not satisfied with this, I want to convert into next level, then you need to go for bicode normal form. Yes, so it takes some time to discuss. So I hope at the timer for the day, right, I am trying to wind up the session for the day, and please don't ignore that normalization form, very important as for you to attending any interviews on any places. Alright, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, be a patience in my class. Alright, and have a great day. By the way, I am Anil Kumar, the trainer of APSSDC.